Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. Picked up this Ryrie KJV. I just was hunting for one to use in my Bible study chair. So I got this really cheap. I just noticed it retails for $60.99 or $69.99 as a matter of fact. But I got it used off eBay. So let's take a look. I really like their design team. And Moody's bonded leather really hasn't changed much over the years. Here's what it looks like. I think Talmadge French used to say this was his favorite study Bible. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, you know, we're not going to agree probably with anything in all the notes in every study Bible. I was managing editor of the Premier Study Bible. I disagree with a couple spots in there I don't like to make mention of. I tried to get them out, but you know, they still bleed through because some people said, is that what that means? And I'm like, But it does have raised, getting back to the Ryrie Bible bands here, it does have decorative headbands, tail bands, one ribbon marker. And this one is unique. I normally don't like a Bible with thumb index. Boy, going back to the Premier Study Bible, we sold, it's like 1-to-1 indexed to non-indexed, which Nelson was saying that's just never happened. They said, your people actually use the Bible. We're like, yep. Charles Caldwell Ryrie. I think I have an autographed copy of this, not in King James though. Acknowledgement, Barry Betzel, Paul Benoit, Paul Enns, not Peter Enns, Paul Enns, New Younger Bible Dictionary, New Younger Bible Handbook. He had a THD and a PhD. Table of weights and measures. Now this is all in the front. Read through the Bible in a year. They've always used great paper in these. Still a little bit of bleed through. Hebrew classifications, Old Testament book. And then the Old Testament annotated. So like, here's what you're going to get into when you get an introduction. They're going to be pretty conservative. No, they're not going to be Pentecostal in any way, shape, or form. More Baptist, evangelical kind. But you got to remember, when this came out, you basically had the Schofield and Thompson chain were the two for decades, like a half century. And then you had the date come out, and then you had the Ryrie come out. So a lot of people, and then you have this big outline and a timeline, and it doesn't look like he follows Usher's timeline, but you know, probably still young earth in some way. This is bonded leather. Bonded leather's almost gone by the wayside because the leather soft, leather touch, petroleum-based imitation leathers are using now are so much better than bonded leather. Bonded leather is like pressboard. It's pieces of leather bonded together. Sometimes it's not even 100% leather. He goes in, some understand the gap of an indeterminate period of time between verses 1 and 2 and translate became rather than was. Although the Hebrew word may mean became, as in 1926, the construction of a clause does not support a consecutive statement describing something that happened subsequent to verse 1, but rather describing something included in verse 1. In other words, the initial creation was formless and empty. And I enjoy how Unger in his New Unger's Bible Handbook just says, you know, that's totally unknown to the Jews, the gap theory was. So, you know, Jewish expositors and that type thing. Which, a lot of people said, well, how can you trust the Jews? They miss Jesus. Yeah, but Jesus said they had a correct view of God in John 4:21-23. And then he said, obey what they say, but they say and don't do it. That's the big thing. That's hypocrite. Now, one thing that I personally like about the Ryrie, first of all, I like side column references. But then secondly, you have like a ½ inch and then more where there's no references on the side. At the top, you have like 0.825 inches maybe. It's a lot of room. And at the bottom, you have 0.625 inches. And even in the gutter, it looks like you have 0.625. So a lot of room to write. Plus, side column references to me are just so easy. Now, I'll just show you kind of how it's set up here. And then it's got the traditional notes at the bottom. So it's really set up well to write in. And it's not a huge Bible. It's probably right at the upper limits of the size of a Bible that you would want. You know, it's you wouldn't really want anything any bigger than this. The print's not huge. You know, I'm just guessing probably 9-point print. There is some ghosting, but you know, for when it was just done amazingly well. And I'm not sure how many millions it sold. It's got a thin ribbon marker. I don't think I'm going to measure. It's not real long. It is diagonal cut. Okay, I'll measure. It's 2.5 inches. I just wasn't sure. I got curious about it. 2.5 inches. The thumb indexing is stellar, large print. Let's see if it's got anything between Malachi and Genesis. Oh yeah, it does. It's got a lot. And so between the Testaments, we'll just show you, it's got a lot. In study Bibles, you really need to look here because if my memory serves me correctly, I've heard of people saying they've had Bibles for years and never knew all the things that were in the middle. They just, you know, you look at the front, you look at the back, you look at the text while you're reading the text or studying the text. This is good size print, and it's readable print. It's just, it's not huge print or anything. When we did the Premier Study Bible, we tried to take the very best of every study Bible, like character studies, archaeology, maps as you change places, and incorporate them through the wonderful people at Livingstone and Nelson and all this into a study Bible. And so we got things from the Ryrie, as a matter of fact. It's got like Introduction to the Gospels, New Testament books, maps, Harmony of the Gospels, massive outline, timeline 37 BC to 30 AD. And, you know, this red letter, it's about right. It's a nice, I like this shade of red when they do it in red letters. Just with this combination of paper and things, it's not eminently readable. It doesn't jump off the page. Tiny little bit of ghosting, but which bleed through, but it's still just good. Let's just say that. It's good. Just a well put together. Moody's always done just a great job. I don't know where they get these things printed at. Revelation, author John 90s AD. You can just kind of tell by that. It's conservative. Okay, and so then an index to the principal subjects and the notes. Let's say you're trying to figure out, you know, where is Aaron? You know, instead of just trying to go from Exodus to Deuteronomy, you can look here and it'll tell you the notes that have, or at least the principal notes that mention him and that type thing. So that's really good. Now, this is one thing, like articles in the back. That's one thing too we got from the Ryrie Study Bible. Is we didn't, when I say we got the idea to do articles in the back. We didn't take these articles and put them in the Premier Study Bible. We just said, hey, Ryrie did that. Why don't we write some articles and put them in the back? So that was good. And we kind of got that idea too. Apostolic Study Bible has like 13 articles. Then Howard Voss has archaeology in the Bible. Brief survey of church history by Cairns. See, he got the best Voss, Cairns. These are just great. And here's yet another idea we got from Ryrie. is the topical index to the Bible. So we had some wonderful Bible quizzers led by Brother Joel Booker in Rialto, California, and his team, and they've got in the Premier Bible just this wonderful subject index, topical index. So this is just great. And then it's got just your basic concordance, small print concordance, I might add. But it's rather extensive. It's kind of like the Thompson Chain Concordance, pretty extensive, but it's pretty small print. But again, you remember when this came out, you had Dake from a Pentecostal perspective, which is just one of the most unique study Bibles out there. Then you had Schofield and Thompson that had ruled the roost. And then this came out. And maps, let's see, it's got 15 maps and some blank, really like bleached white pages here, spine stabilization pages. And I'll show you. These are good maps. I don't know, I've seen these maps before. I'm thinking they look like Holman maps. So they may have gotten them from Holman, or they may be something that Barry Betzel got for them or something. But it's just really good. Let's measure it, and we'll be done. So it's about 9.35 inches. Has very little yap. It looks to me like it's a little smidge, like a 1/16 of an inch smaller yap than a lot of yaps. We'll do it like this. Appreciate Sister Waldron zooming in and out. 6.5 inches wide. So yeah, you know, 9 by 6, 9.5 by 6.5. That's about as wide as you want. It's beautiful decorative headbands, though. I will tell you that. It's gold. Looks kind of like the Georgia Tech colors. Oh, and I wanted to see Smith's sewn. Does it lay flat? Yeah, see, it lays flat in Genesis. And let's see how thick this is. Maybe about 1.85 inches thick, if I'm reading that right. So, you know, that's just about the limits. But I think besides so many, his theology was conservative. You know, your Jerry Falwell's, H.L. Wilmington's, Moody Press, obviously, kind of conservative. You know, there's a few things I disagree with. Obviously, I would not be a cessationist. I believe the gifts of the Spirit are still for people today and in the church today. I think I was a textual critical note maybe on Mark 16 said that maybe it's not in the oldest or something. I wonder if I can find that. Yeah, these verses do not appear in two of the most trustworthy manuscripts in the New Testament, though they are part of many other manuscripts and versions. If they're not a part of the genuine text of Mark, they're ending in verse 8. It's probably because the original closing verses were lost. The doubtful genuineness of verses 9 through 20 make it unwise to build a doctrine or base an experience on them. Base an experience, you shall speak with tongues. I always appreciated Lee Stone King. He would preach out of that so often, Mark 16. Because it is, we've done videos showing the authenticity of Mark 16. I don't think you can read Dean Burgon, the genuineness of Mark 16, 9 through 20, and have any doubt left. I was reading like a modern textual critic the other day, and he was like, okay, we all know everybody hates Dean Burgon. He said, but have you ever read his book? It's just incontrovertible. So I thought that was pretty cool. So this is just a great Bible, the Ryrie Study Bible, and the making of Bibles. There is no making of books. Anyhow, God bless. And this does come in a bunch of other translations. I'm a King James guy. Talk with you later. God bless you. And we appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, put it on social media, share with others. Talk with you. Bye.